had to revote.
Yep.
Was there a second on that?
Sue. Yes.
Yes, Sue.
Okay,
I got it.
great, good, thank you.
Specifically based on your advice.
Trish, you get left off.
Thank you.
So there's 2 votes on this on 12F. One was in favor to vote, and the vote itself failed because it was a tie with 4 abstentions. So I presume, Madam Superintendent, you're going to change the vote
I got it.
to read that.
Yeah, that's
Okay, good. All right, I just want to be sure.
And every vote, one of the both is gonna go.
Another three.
Okay, so this one says, this was item 12F, it definitely says see attached cross-reference sheet. Okay, that brings us to 12G.
No, we're not done with that because we
Oh, I'm
said
sorry, we have
budget.
you have the budget vote.
Maybe this will be a little easier.
This is a very clear situation.
Okay, we have the opportunity to re-vote on the recommended amended budget.
I'd like to make a motion that we re-vote on the recommended budget.
Well, why don't you make a motion to intend what your motion is, and then we'll vote on that. We'll save us.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, what is your motion?
You tell me, you're writing it down.
Is it to
You know what
recommend
you
or not
want.
recommend the budget?
We're recommending the budget.
There you go, that's your
Okay, so
motion.
your vote, you want to make a motion that the school board recommend the amended vote?
But I thought I had to make a motion to
vote?
No.
vote on it.
No, you don't. have to
No,
make a
there was
motion.
discussion that showed that there was some opposition to holding a vote on the last one, so we took a vote on it, okay?
Okay.
So now,
So we're just gonna move right to vote,
You're
okay?
gonna
Now
motion to
it makes
recommend
sense
Article
to
7.
recommend our own budget, does it not?
Yes, yes, it does, all right, so
So,
that's what I wanted to say.
so your motion is to recommend the
Recommend.
amended budget upward to the school board recommendation in the first place, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
And that vote was seconded by whom?
Second.
By Dawn. Okay, so
No.
Jeff made the motion
As amended at deliberative session, should be.
to recommend as to, yeah, let me just write it down here. I mean, we've got to take a moment to try to get this accurate, folks. This is 12F. right?
Yes, 12F number 2.
Pete getting his coat.
Move to recommend the amended amount of, and I'm gonna leave that line blank, okay, Stacy, if you fill it in with the budget number we want. Of amended vote, as passed by the deliberative session. Okay, so your motion, Jeff, seconded by Dawn, reads to move to recommend the amended amount of school board budget number as passed by the deliberative session. Further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. Okay, 6 in favor, 1 opposed, that being Anthony. Any abstentions?
5 in favor.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There are no abstentions, so the vote is 5-1. No abstentions and 1 absent. Bristol and Northampton. Okay, good. I have this.
Bristol and O'Neill.
I think you're doing a lot of secretarial work right now.
Well, it gets it done later now, so you don't have to do it later. And try to remember and listen to the audio and take all that time. So that takes care of 12F, does it not?
So 5 to
Yes.
1.
Yes, 5 in favor, 1 opposed, and 1 absent. Okay, so now at item 12G, which is review the mailer error discussion remedies. You have
I have a motion,
Oh,
yes.
good, okay.
Yes. I make a motion that we authorize the superintendent to publish the correct information in the papers of record and any other papers that she sees fit, or any other places that she sees fit.
Second.
The judgment. And this is 12G, so that goes right there. Okay, the motion before us for discussion is to direct the superintendent to create a correction to be published in 3 papers of record regarding 2 areas on the warrant mailer needing correction. That being the poll opening date time and the matrix. Okay. Any discussion?
I'd like to make an amendment
We're open to amendments?
that you also make those corrections on, or place the corrections on the website as well.
It's covered under any other place she sees fit.
Well, that just specifically
So are
include.
you asking me to accept a friendly amendment to my motion?
Yes.
Say yes, good, okay. So you have to say that.
Okay. I accept it. Does my second, with Jeff,
Oh, God, yes.
accept it?
Okay, so now we-
Please, yes.
Okay, at least we're doing this right.
Yes.
Okay, the motion now reads, friendly amendment to direct the superintendent to create a correction to be published in 3 papers of record as well as SAU4.org regarding 2 areas on the warrant needing correction.
And I do want it to say in any other place she
Yeah.
sees
On
fit.
the warrant mailer, I should say, right?
And any other places she fits.
Take care of
And I was assuming that was additional papers, that's why specifically said the website.
Yeah, or, no, you know, notices home, anything like that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fine. The principals can send it
Right, wasn't that part of our discussion?
I said any other place she sees fit, so that will cover that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think we mentioned that. Okay, to direct the superintendent to create a correction to be published in 3 papers of record as well as SAU4.org regarding 2 areas on the warrant mailer needing correction and any other places deemed appropriate. Further discussion? Sorry, I can't take your comment.
I just had it was just it wasn't really a comment, it was just John Jennis, New Hampton. When I was at the deliberative in New Hampton, the session 1, they mentioned the chance that it might be at the municipal, or someone asked about having the voting at the municipal building, not at the town hall. So I don't know if you want to just double check that.
Okay, we'll take that comment under advisement for the
It was like
superintendent.
right at the very end of the night, so I just remembered
Yeah,
that.
stop moving these things around.
I know.
Okay.
Someone made a suggestion to the selectmen, so.
Okay, we'll deflect that to the superintendent. Thank you. It's always tough to ignore something, so.
And then I was making a general comment.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries 6-0-0. With 1 absent. This was item 12G. C attached. Okay. I have a motion for 12H, if we can.
I don't think that this requires a motion.
Well, may not, but what I want to do is put this in Stacy's hands. So I'm suggesting that we move to direct the superintendent to effect policy AFA evaluation of the school board, finalize dates, and coordinate the collection of results from the board, staff, and community. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, seconded by Stu. Okay, further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions?
Yes.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4. No one opposed, no abstention, and absent.
I think we kind of shouldn't have the right to vote on that. That's why I abstained. We shouldn't have the right to tell her, no, you can't ask people how we're doing. Because we have a policy that says she will send this out and ask people how we're doing. Or that we
Yeah,
will.
regarding the policy that has never been followed as it's written, I just wanted to put in, on the record that we need to finalize the dates and coordinate the correction of results, because that's never been done, at least in my experience.
Yeah, probably we ought to put that on the policy committee.
That's why. The other thing that
I'll
we
follow it
agreed,
though.
Yeah, I'll follow it. It's easy to follow, it's not updated.
the other thing we agreed is to set a date for the superintendent's evaluation of February 17th, which would be a formally posted board meeting on Monday, February 17th at the SAU at 6:30 PM.
6 or 6:30.
6:30.
6:30.
Didn't I say that?
Yep.
6:30 PM?
You did.
Okay. Okay. Since it was a discussion item, I guess secondary motion would be to agree to do that. So could I have a second to my motion to do that?
To set the date
Yeah,
for that?
yeah.
Sure, yes.
Okay, seconded by Sue.
You're just motion happy tonight, aren't you?
Yes.
Hey, it's how you conduct business on the school board, so I guess we should get used to it. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Any abstentions? 4, 5, no abstentions, no opposed, 1 absent. 2 absent. Those 3. Okay, field trips.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, never mind.
I move that we approve the field trips requested with us tonight.
Really?
To approve as submitted? Is
Yeah.
that the motion?
Yeah.
Motion made by Ruby to approve as submitted. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Sue. Discussion? Any discussion on the field trips as submitted? Okay. All those in favor to approve the field trips as submitted, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the vote passes 2, 4, 6, I'll get it right here. No abstentions, and 1 absent. First off. Okay, approved. That was approved. All right, let's see, where are we?
Okay.
Page 7, item A, policy review. This action is regarding the handbook and the abolition or recommendation to rescind. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
One second.
Okay, the motion is to
Accept the handbook and rescind BBG.
accept handbook and rescind policy EBG effective.
The organizational meeting.
Can I, and I don't know if this is a second amendment, but it just kind of goes with the second piece of that, which is about changing, we have actually six policies that note SAU board, and so I think the further recommendation would be just those 6 policies would be amended as opposed to SAU board to say Newfound Area School Board.
Yeah, maybe we ought to review those anyway in their entirety and submit them separately.
Okay.
That's my thought.
So that we have the numbers, with the letters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
If I have them all pulled,
And we can reflect that they've been reviewed.
Right.
I'll bring those to policy.
yeah, then we'll just deal with that as a housekeeping matter at a subsequent meeting. We've taken enough votes tonight, don't you think?
Do we need to
Well, we haven't taken a vote on
vote
this
on
yet.
these separately?
No. The motion is to accept the handbook and to rescind policy BBG effective at the March 2014 organizational meeting. Correct, Jeff?
Make sure there's a period after the handbook, so that we're not holding the handbook up until the organizational meeting.
And I mean, all policy changes go through 2 reads, don't they? So aren't we actually going to approve this acceptance and rescission at our March 10th meeting? Not at an organizational meeting. This board is doing that. The new board just comes in with Newfound without SAU for.
Yeah, actually, we shouldn't be taking action on this tonight, right? It's the first reading.
Right.
Well, we're not really reading, we're rescinding.
Yeah, but you're right, the policies have to go through 2 reads, which means it really needs to be on the next agenda. So the idea being that if there's public input, that's right.
Right?
So we don't do anything tonight?
So
I
we could either do
undo my
nothing.
second.
Withdrawal of that motion.
Yeah, we could either do nothing, or we could just accept the policies as is, as a first reading. But
Well, we have to have a vote tonight and then a vote at the second reading.
What's the vote tonight? We
Just
don't
to
normally
accept
vote the first time
Second
around.
reading.
Yeah, we
do.
As-
Have to
as
do that.
presented.
You do?
Yeah, we vote for first
Yeah,
reading and second.
just to accept the
Okay.
first reading.
Then I
this
leave my
is how it-
second in place.
How it should read, right?
So we'll just take a friendly modification of my motion there.
Yeah, to accept the first reading.
Friendly?
Do you want to sit here another 15 minutes?
Of these policies. I'll just leave it at that, okay? To accept the first reading of these policies. Any further discussion? Hearing none?
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, I recognize Dawn for comment. Motion
Do we
by Jeff
need
and seconded by me.
to officially abolish the SAU board rather than just eliminating the policy?
School Boards Association told me that if we rescind the policy and just clearly document it, which we've done at this meeting, why we're doing that, that's all we need to do. That would abolish basically the board. It's the only policy you have that talks about the SAU board in existence.
Okay, the motion is to accept the first reading of these policies, made by Jeff, seconded by
Oh,
Ruth.
you're not really,
No, the motion was to accept the 504 handbook and to rescind BBG. So it wasn't to
Yeah.
accept these policies, because we're not accepting
The
BBG.
No, the first reading, I said the first reading. That's all we're doing, is accepting the first reading.
well,
Okay,
No,
but
first,
we need to
this
make
policy
clear that we're rescinding
has
it.
already,
Hold on, one
oh,
at a
sorry,
time, Sue.
BBG has already been accepted years ago. What we're doing is rescinding.
Right,
So we're not really accepting the first reading of a policy, we're accepting the motion to rescind it. So it's kind of 2 different things.
then let's separate.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, why don't we start over?
Okay, so
To
the,
square
I
one.
thought it was fine. It said accept 504, rescind BBG. And it's our first vote, and we've got to vote on it again because it's a matter of policy. So we have to have the same vote in March. So why can't they be combined? Next month, if we disagree, we can separate them.
All right, so we accept 504 for the first, the handbook 504 for the first reading.
And we rescind BBG, but But it can't be permanent because it's policy change, so we have to look at that again next month? Is that right?
I don't know
For
about
the first
rescinding if it
reading.
takes
I don't
two. I'm not so sure about that.
I think Sue's point maybe is well taken.
It's good to think about it.
It probably would be better to separate
Okay.
these, just for clarity.
All right, then I do withdraw my second.
Okay, so is
So
Jeff's
I'll
motion?
withdraw the motion and we'll start over.
Okay, is Jeff's motion to accept the first reading of policy regarding?
not a policy.
the fu-
Section.
I'm not doing anything else. I'm done.
This is policy, this item is 12K, policy review, first reading, okay?
I make a motion that we accept the 504 handbook for first reading.
Second.
Okay, made by Ruby, seconded by Paul. Pencils out again. Now. Look at that. Any further discussion regarding acceptance of the 504 handbook policy first reading? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, no. Any abstentions? None. And we have one absent person. Okay. We're now taking 12K2, which is this one. And the motion is to rescind policy BBG. Is that correct? Correct.
Are we rescinding it or are we just voting to
Yeah, I
talk
was
about
gonna
rescinding
say.
it?
This is the question,
I think we're voting to rescind it.
which would be done this evening and finally.
I think you don't have to go back to that, but I don't know that for sure, but we can find out.
No, I
I think it'd be
think,
safer just to
My-
say that we're rescinding it as part of the first reading.
No, I think Sue's comment is accurate. Let me tell you why. When we decided to implement the legal consultation with the chair thing, there was research done on that, and recommendation from the School Board Association was that the board can suspend or rescind a policy at any time it wants to, but with the caveat that you affix a time frame to it, which means that we would do so in perpetuity, to rescind policy BBG in perpetuity. Now, of course, the subsequent board could change that, okay?
Well,
Or-
then starting at the first organizational meeting, at the organizational meeting,
Effective at the first organization meeting. Okay, so to rescind policy BBG in perpetuity. Effective at the March 2014 school board organizational meeting.
I really don't understand the in perpetuity. If you rescind it, it's gone, right?
Well, because the attorney's recommendation was to always affix a time frame, because you might only want to do something for a period of time. To rescind a policy that says the school board can't talk to the teachers without going through the superintendent. If you wanted to talk to them directly, you could rescind it for 30 days and then have the opportunity to do it. That was his
Isn't that
explanation.
suspending it?
So what are we doing at this point?
The motion is to rescind policy BBG in perpetuity effective at the March 2014 school board organizational meeting. This is not an easy task, ladies and gentlemen, to record this. So, appreciate your indulgence. Now, who decides to make that motion? Paul. Who seconds it?
Second.
Sue. Okay. The motion before us for discussion is to rescind policy BBG in perpetuity effective at the March 2014 school board meeting.
I think we've discussed it enough.
Okay?
Maybe we should vote.
Vice Chair, Madam Ruby Hill has called the question. The question before you is, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the vote is 6 in favor, no, 1 in opposition, no abstentions, with 1 absent, that being Bristol. So this is... Okay. That brings us to manifests.
Well, I know Jeff has been in. I don't think anyone else has. I know I have not. Hearing nobody speaking, I would say not now.
Okay, none. Whoops.
Yeah.
Anyone have announcements?
Yeah.
I just have one, I think. I'd like to publicly mention that the New Hampshire School Board Association orientation workshop for new school board members is coming up in Concord on April 29th and May 1st in Whitefield. This is something that new school board members are advised to attend and would need to register. Just to get that in the record. Does anyone else have announcements? Okay, the next school board meeting is, the regularly scheduled one is March 10th, which is the day before the election. And I'd like to agree on an organizational meeting if we could.
I don't think we can, because don't the newly elected people attend the organizational meeting?
Yeah, but it doesn't mean we can't set when it'll be, and for the reasons I cited earlier, I would like it to be earlier rather than later. So, do you have a preference? You mentioned you couldn't make March 24th.
I can do March 17th. That's early, so
That's
you can't after
great.
the election.
You need to give at least 5 days, because you have contested races, so you need to give at least the 5 days for, if there's a recount.
Let's assume there won't be. If there is, we'll have to reschedule.
3, 4, 5, that would be the 18th. We don't have to meet on that day.
Yeah.
If there's a recount, there's a certain number of days that takes, isn't there?
Yeah, it could even
Well, they
go
have
beyond
5 days, they have
days.
5 days to submit the request for a
Yeah,
recount.
so
But
you
that's
could
just
say,
a request.
Right.
set our meeting for the 17th, and as you said, if there's a recount.
But that's not 5 days. That's only 3.
Right,
Yeah, but we-
the 5th day is the 18th.
We'll just
Oh, yeah,
reschedule.
yeah, you can't,
Right, but they have 5
They
days.
could, the day
You're
after
going
we
to
met,
reschedule it then,
ask for it.
no
Right.
matter what, if you set it on that date.
Say again, Mike?
You would have to reschedule it no matter what, because you still
Yeah.
have to give them the
5
5 days.
days.
yeah, we
So-
won't
So you
know.
don't want to schedule it within that 5 days.
Yeah,
So it has to be at least the night of the 18th, at the
Okay.
earliest.
All right, let's do the 18th. Is that okay with everybody? Those of us that'll be here
I
then?
think so.
Okay with that?
Jeff, are you making yes noises or no?
Those are no, I don't know noises, those are like, it's March and, I don't know. The schedule doesn't look good, but I think I'd rather not do it on the 18th,
Pick another day.
19th.
19th,
I can't do the 19th.
20th?
20th is something.
Hearing no objection, Thursday, March 20th?
Ladies check.
Okay, Thursday, March 20th.
Representative of that meeting, right?
Posted meeting by the superintendent?
At the SAU,
That's where
No, I'll be here,
here.
What's that?
Next Monday's at the SAU.
yes.
Oh, yeah, this is it.
Yep, last board meeting will be March 10th here. 17th, next Monday at the SAU for a non-public, March 10th here, and March 20th here. Called to order by the superintendent.
Is that a public meeting, or is that,
Say again, Fred?
is that a public meeting, or is that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Monday.
Yeah, I just call it to order and
Yeah.
elect a chair.
I'm out of here.
Okay, we're now at item 17. Does anyone know what that is?
Yes, I make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Paul, thank you.
Seconded by Paul. All those in favor say aye. The ayes have it. The motion